So, hello. Good evening, everybody. It's lovely to see you. So, the non-dual world in us greets the non-dual world in you. So, the world, when we're very, very little, the whole wide world. I love you more than the whole wide world. The world is an expression of something vast, something bigger than us. Maybe something which appears as, at first, as objective. This place that we are born into, the world. This place that one day we'll give back our equipment and leave. The world. Die Welt. What on earth is it? How do we even know that this world is here, or there, or anywhere? Who gets to say what it's made of? What defines it? What its character is? Well, you know, it's obvious who gets to say it. Humans get to say it. Because the animals, they're not telling. This is a concept, a dimension, which we relate to as if it exists as a stable, objective thing. And we think often, or feel from the depth of ourselves often, that we are here to make the world a better place. But while that's a beautiful wish to bring enlightenment to all those men, this very, very, very unenlightened world, we decided, it is worth first investigating what on earth we're talking about when we say the world. Because there's this two reference points which seem to follow us around through our lives, like that give us some kind of stability or sense of reality. Me and the world, or me versus the world. And we might spend the first half of our lives asking, what role should I play in the world? Whatever that means. I'm a little bit in a kind of, beginner's mind where everything I say is whatever that means. Because to me right now it seems nonsensical. So what is my role in this world? What's my purpose here? What was I born for into this world? And later on in life we might spend the second part of our lives asking, what is the world's role in me? What is this notion of a world, the world? And somewhere in between, in the middle, we might say, I'm in the world but not of it. Or, to be more authentic, I'm of the world but not in it. Because most of us are pretty much dissociated. Even the term, the world, is a kind of dissociation. We have to dissociate feeling in order to talk about the world. What on earth is that? What on earth is that? What on earth is earth? Who are we? So the way we often move in order to structure this notion of the world, this vastness of experience, is to split it into two worlds. There's the outer world, which in the end secretly is the real deal, because that's what feeds your children. And that's what brings you the medicine when you're in pain. And there's the inner world, which is where we keep the private stuff. the stuff we don't want to share with the outer world. And this artificial splitting between the public world and the outer world and the private world, the public and the private, is our first introduction into human society. So on the basis of this split, that there's a private world and a public world, we can think that if we do a really, really, really smelly fart and we keep it private, that nobody's going to smell it. That it's not going to enter the public domain. Or if we're incredibly angry, in a rage, but we don't let it show publicly, that this anger isn't really there, that nobody out there is going to sense it or feel it, that the reason our dog went under the bed is because his tummy is not feeling that good, nothing to do with the vibration which is exuding out of this place where anger is not allowed to be felt, to be public. You can get a sense of the major control issues there are here in the private and the public with our naturalness. But if we're very, very, very deeply sexually attracted to another human being, and we keep that a secret and we don't let it show, that it won't be felt, that nobody will notice. Because it's not public, we decided it's private. And it's an artificial rupture that we make, and the reason for this rupture is the sense of shame or fear of consequences of exposure. Having been too many times violated or disrespected in our naturalness, so that it's a protective mechanism. Okay, the line is here. That's public, this is private. And it's this kind of short-term coping strategy to split the world into two. And most of the time, the private stuff is inside, where we go as we float off to sleep at night, and it feels like nobody's watching us except God and the angels and the whole bloody universe. But at least not the neighbors. And the place that we enter into when we step out of our doorstep in the morning, the public world. So it's got a strong connection with shame, which in turn is connected with consciousness. Shame is a kind of fear of being seen or being exposed in something which we don't want it to be exposed. Or the experience of being seen in something which feels too vulnerable to be exposed to consciousness. Or it could just be a vibration of shame which is transmitted from a neighbor towards us without any particular anchoring in anything at all, just the kind of shame that goes between us like a currency, but that's something else. So the world which we are experiencing, the world that we talk of, would seem to be, from the one hand, always a private experience. Because from the inside world, of course, the way we experience our secret is different from the way somebody else might experience it. Otherwise, we wouldn't need to hide it. We can forgive ourselves. The way we experience the reactions of others out there in the world is a private experience. If we were to be publicly shamed and all our secrets were to be put in the daily newspaper, and we get up in the morning and all the neighbors have read our backstory, the experience of this hostile world, maybe, or adoring world, depending on what our backstory is also a private experience. When we let go of the idea that there's a division, everything is kind of a private experience. Even the experience of publicity is a private experience. You know, we can be James Dean one of the most famous faces on the planet, and everybody else is experiencing our famous face, our publicized face, our whole biography according to what's told among them. But how it feels from the inside is an incredibly, radically private experience. And that private experience of, which includes also the public and which finds release through the public, is partly what we pull together to say this is the world. Meaning, my experience of the world, my world, is very, very different from your world. Or your world, or your world. We have absolutely no way of knowing that we are living in the same world. It would seem. When I see the color blue, I have absolutely no way that when I look at the blue of Darcy's shirt, that you are all registering the same color. Could be that it's a completely different color, which you call blue. We all call it blue, but the experience could be completely different. I cannot know that we are living in the same world. I can't know it. You get very, very, very close to another human being in this dimension of the world. The world. And in this deep, deep, deep private intimacy, which is publicly affirmed, I experience the other human being, maybe in their entirety, or a lot of it. And what do they experience in this relationship? That other human being fills my world. And what's happening with the other human being? They're also filled with themselves. Or are they filled with the impressions of me? Or the outer world inwards? We see everything except ourselves when we let the world in. And the world sees us in a way that we could never see ourselves. So something is going on here in this question, what is the world? And of course, when we go down a trauma tunnel, it can seem that the world is a flat, two-dimensional zone built on our beliefs, which show up so often in really bad pop songs, like it's a material world. It's a men's world. Money makes the world go round. The world is a terrible place. We experience it two-dimensionally, just through beliefs, without feeling, without experience. We filter our perception. And if we all do that, we can all kind of club together and agree, okay, it's a men's world. Yeah, it's a men's world. Patriarchy, yeah, it's a men's world. It's a men's world. And we kind of delude ourselves into these collective illusions to reduce the experience of what it is to be alive, to experience this vast paradoxical universe through a belief, and we huddle together around the belief. Billions of mothers that gave birth to billions of sons and changed their diapers, huddling together and saying it's a men's world. It's a men's... No, it's not. It's nobody's world and everybody's world. So privacy in itself, which can become intimacy with whatever is being experienced. It looks for an edge. It looks for an edge where there is the public, the shared, the collective. It looks for that edge. It looks for that objective world. It looks for consensus. And we go to war to decide what kind of world it should be, which religion it should have, which flag it should wave, who's the best, who's the ruler of this world, who's the loser in this world. What kind of ethics should this world observe? What kind of gender politics? It's like this great big social field. And then, at a certain moment, we've had enough of it, and we get all non-dual, and we meditate and stuff, and we go to lots of satsangs, and we decide, okay, the whole world is an illusion. It's subjective, and therefore it's an illusion. Everything's subjective. All there is my experience of the world. It doesn't exist in any objective form. This is not the reality. It's just subjective impressions everywhere. And that makes me non-dual. So I'm now a non-dual person talking about the world, but we're not yet at the non-dual world. Sorry. I'm a self-identifying non-dual person. And I denounce the world because it's an illusion. Because not everybody shares my world. And I could work on myself a bit because something doesn't sit right with this. Something's not at peace with this. Something feels very real about these subjective impressions. And there are some things which are more truthful than others. And something is here. What is this? So I continue. And then I say, oh my God, everybody is their own universe. Everybody has their own subjective experience. Everybody, every creature, every being, every form is experiencing from its point of view. There are so many worlds on worlds on worlds interlocking. Which is a nice philosophy, but then what does that look like? What does that look like in my daily actual life? What's really happening? What makes the world alive for me, for you, for us? So this amazing place where we become conscious, not of the other as a form, which is very nice form, yo. No, but we become conscious of the consciousness within the other. And the other becomes conscious of the consciousness within us. And where something of the private becomes publicly exposed in the eyes of the other, and something of the other's privacy becomes publicly exposed in the privacy of our own hearts. Something is happening there. Something which is neither my world or the other one's world. Something's being born. There's a charge, there's a party, there's a celebration. Where the subjective world of mine is receiving the impressions. And just as I'm doing this, these impressions are being received by the subjective world of the other, and consciousness is uniting through this form. When a whole country looks at a whole people, a whole species looks over, the cat dimension is looking over towards the human dimension, and the human dimension is looking back into the eyes of the cat. And the cat sees only human, and the human sees only cat. Something is coming to life. Something of the incredible newness of experience is born. Something which is not there when we're all one before we're born, and when we're all one after we die, or in those dimensions where we're all one. Something which is active. Mixing, merging, meeting, exploding. Like supernovas of consciousness, meeting consciousness. Worlds being formed. Worlds coming to life. Moments of connection where everything, private and public, can be downloaded and uploaded and uploaded and downloaded, where everything becomes shared, where everything is ours. And nothing has to be forced or protested or held back or filtered or censored. Where the deepest dimension of our essence, the source of consciousness, is online, meeting itself through the veils of form with the consciousness of another, and voomp, we are here. Through each individual, unique, subjective moment of the physical, of the heart, of the biochemistry, of the thoughts, of the history, of the future, of the individual destiny. The rivers cross, and we are here. This is where the world is coming to life. This is why our leaders travel around meeting each other. Because if they just sat there in their palaces, their role would be meaningless. They need the affirmation, they need the reflection, they need the interchange in order for the world to be, in order to feel themselves part of this world. But this world is made up of 1 billion trillion planetary synapses. Places where of connection. Life, sparking, light sparking. It's in this magic of this place where we dare to allow ourselves to look deeply into, through the experience, towards that which is looking back at us. Even when it's not looking. When life opens up to the life which is there, opening up to us. You can feel how many dimensions are coming online at once. So now it's not a singular flat world. It's multidimensional, it's textured, it's got a depth to it. There's something going on which is beyond linear time and beyond localized space, which is very, very alive from moment to moment to moment to moment as it runs through time. And this is where our world begins to make sense. And this is where the world becomes something more like a non-dual world. It's a world which is so alive in experience, so direct, so unfiltered, so nourishing, so fulfilling, that we don't need to divide and split so much anymore, except just to help other people relax, or to help ourselves relax. It's when the world, the movement of us coming to life in the world reverses, and the world really comes to life in our experience. And then the world which is coming to life in experience, it's not the surface effect. It's not with how the objects look from the outside. It's something much, much, much deeper. It's life is coming to life. Beauty, uniqueness, genius. All the different varieties of love, all the different kinds of resonances of true nature, all of this is coming to life. It's coming to life in this direction, and it's meeting itself the same and yet not, with another variety in the other direction. And there's this creative, destructive party. So when we have the realization that the world is subjective, it's very important not to stop there. Yes, it's very, very liberating to realize that everything we experience is ours in its uniqueness. That nobody experiences the world quite like we do in any moment, and the way we experience the world in this moment is not the same as the way we experience the world in a moment maybe 5 years ago, or maybe a year ago, or maybe when we visited our mother last time, or maybe the last time we felt the warmth of a friend. It's unique to this moment. And even though we might realize the incredible perfection and preciousness and unique messiness of all what makes up our experience of the world, it gets even more awesome because our world also includes the worlds of each other. And it gets even more awesome than that, because we might think we're containing the other one's world, but then at a certain moment we realize that just as we're doing that, the other one is containing us. We're held, and we're holding. We're being lived and we're living. It's all happening at once. And this is utterly and totally awesome. And in this release, we leave a lot of beliefs of how we think things are. So we look more and more deeply into the familiar, into the known world, and we look more and more deeply, and out of this familiarity and the commonplace, something begins to look back at us, which is so essential, so familiar, that it's incredibly alive, that it's like a little reunion. To look at a snail as if it's for the first time, and to realize that the snail is looking at us. To move in meditation to any position inside our body or inside the field of experience, as if for the first time, and to feel the life in that position or that memory which is waiting for us to arrive. This world which is welcoming us in. To enter into this manifold relationship, of which the non-dual world is at the core. It's at the core. The non-dual world is at the core of consciousness, giving birth to 1,000,000 trillion possibilities of form. So now we're beginning to sound quite non-dual because we start to speak a little bit gibberish. It's all of this and none of this, both and neither. It's all inclusive and it doesn't need to include a thing. Okay, we leave it like that. We take a 5-minute break and then we move to the meditation, a very worldly meditation.
So welcome back, everybody. So good to see you all. So let's move into the guided meditation. And I'd like you to find a comfortable position. And if you found a comfortable position, I'd like you to take some time to connect with your physical body. And maybe make a little scan of your physical body. And notice that there are areas which are comfortable. And maybe there's also some areas which are a little bit less comfortable or not comfortable. And try not to interfere, just allow to be the body as it is. And then I'd like you to bring your attention to where the body is supported by the couch or the chair, the mattress. And maybe you can feel the safety of that support. And relax a bit in it. Then I'd like you to connect with the sense of self, the feeling of yourself, the experience of yourself at this moment, your own atmosphere. And maybe you can feel this atmosphere inside yourself. And maybe it's also possible to feel this atmosphere around yourself. And then I'd like you to connect with your own personal experience of the atmosphere of the world. When we say the world, it has an atmosphere. So I'd like you to connect with the atmosphere of the world. The whole world. The world underneath you. And the world at your right side. The world at your left side. The world above you. The world behind you. And the world in front of you. Now we try to connect with the atmosphere of the world all around us and inside us. And maybe it's possible to blend with this atmosphere. And just for a few moments to become this atmosphere. You are the world. And now I'd like you to connect again with the physical body. And with where the physical body is supported. To the couch, the chair, the mattress, the floor. And just allow yourself to relax in this support. And then I'd like you to go to a moment in your life where you felt the difference between the inner world and the outer world. Where you felt the split between the inner world and the outer world. Just notice how your physical body is reacting on this experience. And there is a split or a difference between the inner world and the outer world. And when we move into this moment, what is our attitude? What is the attitude of the inner world towards the outer world? And how do we experience at this moment the attitude of the outer world towards us? And again, we move into the experience, the moment that there was a split between us, the inner world and the outer world. And when we look inside, what would we want the outer world to give to us or to express to us? What would we want the outer world to give to us or to express to us? And whatever we need the outer world to give to us or to express to us, connect with that feeling in the inner world, inside yourself. And just imagine that you're expressing this feeling, this experience, these words, whatever it is what you need from the outer world, we are expressing this now into the outer world. Sharing this with the world around us. And touching whatever is the reality of what we need or want from the world, in the world around us. I'd like you to again to connect with the physical body and just Notice how the physical body is reacting to this. And just allow whatever comes forward to be. And then I'd like you to connect again with where the physical body is supported. And allow the body to relax even more deeply into this support. Now I'd like you to regress back or imagine a moment in your life where the inner world and the outer world are overlapping, where there is a blend, where they are coming together. And just notice how your body is reacting on this. Connecting deeply with this moment, what is our attitude towards the world? And how do we perceive the attitude from the world towards us? Then I'd like you to connect again with the physical body. And everything what is happening in and around the physical body. And just allow for some time to happen what is happening. And then again, we connect with the support, the couch, the chair, the mattress, or the floor. And we allow ourselves to relax into this support, into the safety of this support. And then it's time, while we slowly are coming back into the here and now, to say goodbye to the people on the live stream. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to experience you next week again, and have a wonderful week. And we take a 5 minutes break, and after 5 minutes, we will have some time for questions and sharing, and of course, the peace meditation.